Now then, you lovely lot, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. It's lovely to see you. Today we're going to be talking about the S word. Now I've noticed that certainly on my channel, and I think on other quilters' channels as well, that any video relating to this gets a lot of interest. So it's obviously something that really touches a sore point with quilters. And that S word, of course, is scraps. Have you got any? I've got more than a few, to be perfectly honest. So I have been watching some videos from some YouTubers where I'm absolutely blown away by the organisation that some people have for their scraps, and quite envious, I have to say, really, as well. So I started off quite organised. Just reach down. I started off quite organised, and I had a bin, you know, a little, not Tupperware, but that sort of thing, you know, of scraps, colour coded, very organised. This is obviously the green, and as you can see, it is full to busting, literally full to busting. And the blue section has actually it's migrated from a box into a plastic bag because there's so much of it, and I don't know why, because I don't really do a lot with blue, so I'm not quite sure why really, but there we go, blue. There's another one down there that's got 2.5-inch jelly roll strips in. We've got the 5-inch squares from Charm Packs, and then I've got the 2.5-inch squares that I sort of cut off the little bits and pieces that will sit in the drawer over there. And that's not without mentioning the drawers under the long arm that are full of fat quarters and scraps. It's getting a bit out of hand, really, and you can probably tell from this level of organisation what sort of state the cupboard of doom is in, with, you know, a lot of that going on in there, to be perfectly honest. So I have decided that this year I'm going to try and do some scrap quilts. Now, I don't know about you, but I love a scrap quilt. I absolutely love them. I think there's just something about them. I don't know, maybe it's just the leftover, maybe it's just that there's, you know, the colours are all over the place. I don't know what it is, but I do like a scrap quilt. So what I'm going to do, in typical true Emma fashion, I'm going to start with the smallest pile first. So I'm starting with the 2.5-inch squares. Now what I'm going to do with these is revisit a block that I did mention in one of my previous videos, which is a granny square block. So it makes up to a block, it actually makes up to a block like that, and I think I did a video on a set of blocks that somebody had given me that I made up as a charity quilt, but it makes up, I think it makes up to about a 9-inch block, thereabouts. And it uses 2.5-inch squares, and I'm going to make them up to this point here, and you can see that I've got a little pile of them already going, and I'm not going to trim them down until I'm ready to sew them together, because once you trim these down you then have bias edges all around the outside, which is not great to be left lying around, so they'll go to this point. So it's a nice easy block that's made up of a central square, and then, like the crochet granny square, it comes around in sort of circles all the way round, like so. Now this pile is going to do, I'll probably get a few blocks out of it, but obviously the further out you come, the more repetition you have of a fabric, and I don't think I'm going to get that many from this pile, which is then I would then dive into my 2.5-inch jelly roll bag to use them up. And they just get put together in rows, and then sew the rows together, and then that's your block. Ta-da! Just like that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just have a quick slurp of coffee because I've made it, and I don't know about you, but I make so many cups of coffee that end up going cold. So there we go. So that is the plan with the 2.5-inch squares, and I can also, for the 4 that go around the central block, I can also use some of my charm packs, because of course don't forget, with a charm pack you can cut that into 4 2.5-inch squares. I had trouble with the word then, but you know what I mean. So that is my plan with this pile, and I'm hoping that that will get through a few of those, and then I can dive into the jelly roll. Okay, so that's that one. The other thing that I'm planning on doing is this one. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but when I go to a show, the real danger period for me is that last hour on the show floor, because usually we'll meet up for a cup of coffee and a quick chin wag, you know, and then it's right, okay, we'll have another quick whiz round the show floor and then meet at the exit. So it's that last sort of hour, half an hour, it is really dangerous for me, because that is when I tend to do most of my impulse buying. And this was most definitely an impulse buy. I got these from the Festival of Quilts last August, and I love Jen Kingwell quilts. It's that scrappy look, isn't it? I just, you know, they just look great. And these are foundation pieced papers for the Wednesday day of quilt. And if I just open it up, you can just see what the shape of it is. And I love the version that she did for her sample, which is all sort of like browns and blues, which means I might get through some of those blues in that bag. So I'm going to plan on having a little go at that and making one up and seeing what it looks like. But again, I'm planning on using scrap fabric rather than cutting into any of my stash for it. Maybe some fat quarters, we'll see. But there's 60 in this book. Let's see, what did I pay? I paid £20 for it. I got it off the actual Jen Kingwell stand that was at festival last August. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm quite excited about that one. So that is so far my plan with a few of my scraps. So how about you? Have you got lots of scraps? Are you really organised? Do you colour sort them? Do you, as I've seen with a lot of quilters recently, do you cut them into specific sizes and keep them in tubs like that? Or do you sort them into different boxes for colour? Let me know. And if you've got any suggestions for some really nice, quick, easy scrap quilts, then let me know those as well. I found a couple, because of course Karen from Just Get It Done Quilts, she does some great scrap quilts. I really like the things that she does. So if you are looking for somewhere, you could have a look at that. Right, so I've got one sort of done in rows here now, so I'm going to bite the bullet and I'm going to press those seams and I'm going to get that one together. And if you fancy joining me, let me know. But like I say, it's a nice simple block just to have a little go at. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Happy coffee, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.